History remembers conquerors for the lands they seized, but King Sejong is remembered for something far more dangerous. He gave power to the people, not through armies, but through knowledge. In a world where learning was controlled by elites, this decision changed everything. 15th century Korea was not peaceful or secure. Surrounded by powerful neighbors and internal rivals, the throne was a place of constant danger. One wrong move could invite invasion or rebellion. Sejong knew this, yet he chose a path no ruler dared to take. He believed ignorance was a greater threat than any enemy army. But that belief would place him in direct conflict with his own court. What kind of king risks his crown to educate the powerless? And why would such an act terrify the most powerful men in the kingdom? To understand Sejong's greatness, we must begin where his greatest gamble began. Korea in the early 15th century was a young kingdom still finding its strength. The Joseon dynasty had replaced the old Goryeo state, but stability was fragile and power was tightly guarded. Every decision at court echoed with fear of betrayal. The capital, Hansong, was a city of stone walls, royal palaces, and rigid hierarchy. Scholars in flowing robes advised the king, while farmers and soldiers lived far from power. Knowledge was written in classical Chinese, a language only elites could master. Sejong was born into this world of sharp divisions. As the third son of King Sejong, he was not expected to rule. But fate shifted when his elder brothers were removed from succession, clearing a dangerous path to the throne. When Sejong became king in 1418, he inherited more than a crown. He inherited tension, ambition, and the heavy shadow of his father's ruthless rule. The kingdom was secure, but its people were not truly free. Quickly, Sejong proved he would not rule like kings before him. He listened more than he spoke, studying reports late into the night. But quiet leadership can be dangerous in a court filled with ambition. Threats pressed in from every direction. Northern borders faced constant raids, forcing Sejong to strengthen defenses and command military campaigns. Victory brought security, but it also tested his resolve as a peaceful scholar king. Inside the palace, resistance grew. Powerful elites feared Sejong's reforms, especially his support for science and merit over birth. They expected tradition to prevail. But Sejong had other plans. He expanded research, improved agriculture, and backed inventions that changed daily life. Rain gauges, improved calendars, and medical texts spread quietly across the kingdom. Yet one idea, still unspoken, would challenge the very foundation of power. The turning point began with a question no king had dared to ask. Why should knowledge belong only to the elite? Sejong knew most of his people could not read the laws that ruled their lives. Secretly, he gathered scholars in the Hall of Worthies. There, behind closed doors, they worked on something revolutionary. Not a weapon, but a new way to give voice to the silent. When rumors spread, opposition grew fierce. Court officials warned that change would destroy order and weaken authority. But Sejong pressed on, even as his health failed and his eyesight dimmed. In 1443, the mystery was revealed. A new script, simple and powerful, was born. But would the people accept it, or would tradition crush Sejong's greatest dream? When the new script was announced, the court reacted with shock and anger. Scholars mocked it as crude and dangerous, fearing the loss of their authority. But Sejong stood firm, declaring that knowledge should serve the people. Slowly, the impact became clear. Farmers could read instructions, women could write letters, and commoners could record their own stories. Literacy spread beyond palace walls, changing society in quiet but permanent ways. Sejong did not rule forever. His later years were marked by illness and exhaustion, the cost of relentless dedication. Yet his reforms endured, outliving opposition and political fear. His reign proved that true power does not always come from force. Sometimes it comes from compassion, patience, and the courage to imagine a different future. When King Sejong died, the world did not collapse into chaos. Instead, his ideas continued to breathe, speak, and grow among the people. A king who ruled with wisdom had changed history without conquering lands. Today, his legacy lives in every written word, every shared thought, every voice once silenced. He proved that leadership can uplift rather than dominate. Few rulers in history achieved so much with so little bloodshed. So we are left with a question. What kind of power truly shapes the future, fear or understanding? If you enjoyed this journey through history, don't forget to subscribe to History Hub for more cinematic stories.